All right, so I think the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. So today is the 23rd of May 2024, and this is me, Harshad, also known as Highway, presenting something I've been building for a while. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, can you all see this?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
so I'll just give a quick background of on myself and why I'm building this as I then demo this. I've been a FreeBSD user since early 2000s, version 5.2 if I recall correctly. And I got hooked thanks to the community at freeshell.org, also known as SDF. I've been using it as a daily driver for most of the years. I've used Mac OS and Linux. And I've tried Linux several times, but I did not find myself comfortable there. FreeBSD feels like home. So that's just one of the reasons why I insist on using FreeBSD. It's something that I have been using for almost 20, 24 years now. And the muscle memory that I have built over the years, uh, that that is tremendous. Like I love FreeBSD for the principle of least astonishment, where you do not get surprised when the OS rug pulls your tools from under you. I'm looking at Linux specifically for this. Another thing is, I'm not a sysadmin, I'm just an enthusiastic user. And I manage my several FreeBSD machines via CLI because that's the default. But it doesn't have to be this way for everyone. So let me show you what this app that I've built. It's just a simple package that you can install on top of an existing FreeBSD machine. And it will give you a web UI, which you can use to manage your FreeBSD system. Right now, I have only two features set up. The first is account settings, which lets you change your email and password. This is built into any Elixir and Phoenix app. But the more important and the fun part is this services. So here is all, the infinity symbol. The robot icon is for system, and the user icon is for anything related to the user. So in system, we have services. Now I'm running this on inside a jail, so there aren't many services running right now. You can see cron, IP6 adder control, SSH daemon, syslog daemon, and tailscale daemon. So you can also tap onto the enabled services. Now here I actually, while building this software, I discovered that there are many services enabled that are not running. And that led me to search a little bit and realize that some of these services, such as MOTD or CleanVar, CleanTMP, these get run once when the system is starting, and they don't have to be running all the time. So I'm discovering and learning more about FreeBSD even after so many years of using it, just while building this little app. Then there are all the services that FreeBSD comes built in with, and it's a long list, about 200 services that can be enabled and run. And I've gone and added a little icon for each one of them, ones that I could find in Lucide icons. And when you go to, let's say, the running services, here, let's say I go to IP6 adder control, I'm shown with the description, and the service commands, extra commands as in RC says, those come in the blue buttons. It shows status, prefer IPv6, prefer IPv4. Then you have the commands to start, restart, and stop. So let's say I can stop this service. Okay. Demo time, it's probably not working. Great. And I could, let's say, let me try something else. Status. Hmm, something funny happening here. Let's try config test. Yes, SSHD config test runs. I can restart SSHD. And one thing to note here is that every command that is being run is shown in the log above, and the output is also being displayed. So the idea here is that whether you're an expert or a novice, you get an idea of what is happening behind the scenes when you're running this user interface. And uh, that plus the ability to just quickly go check what all you have done. I should not be playing with Tailscale because my uh, demo will stop. But this is how the system responds. It runs in immediate mode, as I call it right now. I would like to get a better word for it. But the way it performs is it is simply a wrapper around the existing tools in FreeBSD. Anything that requires you to write YAML, uh, this is not infrastructure as code. This is simply a wrapper around the tools that you as a system administrator or a user would use on the CLI. This simply brings it up to the web UI. And right now, I only have this particular thing built in the past 2 weeks. And in the near future, I plan to implement package management, configuration file management, managing network interfaces, PF, that is packet firewall, syscontrol tweaks, rc.conf settings, and ZFS datasets. Once these things are available and tested and working properly, I would like to build in backups via Restic, uh, be able to have local shares via Samba, jails via Bastille, managing your domains via DESEC, TLS certificates via Let's Encrypt, reverse proxy via Caddy, and VPN via Tailscale and later WireGuard for fully self-hosting. What this whole thing is going to allow, let me switch back. Uh, Stop screen sharing. Okay. So what I plan to do with this, or why I'm building this, is that we proclaim that FreeBSD is like Lego blocks. It allows you to build the system that you need with all the tools provided there. However, in the past 20-ish years of using FreeBSD, I've realized that not everyone, including myself, has maybe the time or the uh, hi kitty, or wants to put in the efforts to learn every command via CLI and use it that way. The idea here is to make FreeBSD as easy to use as just tap, tap, and go on your mobile phone. Another thing I realize, and which thanks to BoxyBSD, I've realized it even more that many people who want to use FreeBSD do not have or may not have a laptop or a desktop to access their server. BoxyBSD solves one part of the problem, that is getting a FreeBSD machine for yourself. Freedive is the next step, probably right after, where you can configure and use that VM from your mobile phone or tablet if that's all you have. And for people who want to, let's say, have a home lab, they can use it from their desktop. But people who just want a NAS or a simple static website host, they can use Freedive uh, to set this whole thing up from their mobile phone and never have to access the CLI. That's the dream. Someday I want to reach there. Uh, what else? One of the ideas behind showing the commands and the outputs is that it teaches CLI to beginners via exposure. So as you're using the web UI, you are constantly also seeing what's happening underneath in the system. So with exposure over time, you will know what to expect, what to type into the CLI, And that will take, I'm hoping that will take away the fear of the CLI, uh, letting people graduate from the web UI to going the hard way around, to basically saying, okay, now I know enough about FreeBSD that I can start diving into the SSH shell and try this whole thing out myself. Uh, this also lets experienced users be comfortable in knowing what the system is doing. And just in general, I think transparency and not uh, not adding unnecessary abstractions on top of FreeBSD. Because Freedive, this app is simply a package you install onto existing FreeBSD. It's not trying to be a new distro. It does not take over the system and replace things and not tell you. It is extremely transparent to you as the user. These are basically just the things that I have in my mind while building it, and I'm looking for help to review the code, test the features, and maybe help fix bugs and build features. And finally, thank you, Gyptazi and Stefano, for encouraging me to share this hobby project with everyone. So that's about it from me at this moment. I'll be building and chipping away on this for a while, for maybe years to come. And I invite everyone who's interested to join me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I really appreciate it. And first things first, so really thank you very much for providing us this insights of your project and giving this presentation in this call. So really appreciate it. And I think, yeah, it's already said. So I think the core work has already been done. So we can see that there are already the services available and they are already dynamically evaluated in that way. So it's more about the configuring in the map, the icons for the related services and so on. And I think the next steps you already mentioned what you want to do in the near future. I think that's, yeah, more or less low hanging fruits because there's not much work more because the underlying and base work has already been done. So I think the next steps are, yeah, pretty near. So, and with saying this, I think you also showed the output commands and so on for the usability. I think this is really very cool because especially beginners already see what they have to expect from the output. And when they are going on the CLI afterwards and doing it manually, they already are aware what they have to expect from the output, what is coming back to them and how it would look like. And yeah, this is also what you already mentioned, that you are taking away the fear from them.
Yes. Thank you.
Really cool.
I really appreciated this demonstration because one of the things I mostly like about the Unix and Unix-like operating systems is do one thing and do it well. And the point is you're building an interesting tool to manage what's already inside our systems. So you're not reinventing the wheel. You're just powering up something we already have. So experience, for example, in my case, sometimes I need to connect to remote servers and there's stuff some services. So I have to connect via mobile phone, terminals, more keyboards moving. it's not easy
Yes,
at all.
yes.
With
It is
Freedive,
troublesome. We've been there.
yeah. So the point is that with Freedive, you can do the same thing without having too many problems or too much another situation. So what I really appreciated is that you're doing it in a clean and intelligent way. So thank you for doing this and thank you for sharing. I think this could be something really interesting and that could be FreeBSD specific and one of those things that could lead people to decide to try something else from the Linux or other operating systems.
Yes, you've got it right. One of the reasons why I am making this specifically FreeBSD is because I want to expose the best things about FreeBSD that I have discovered and come to love. And if I build something that is generic, it is the least common denominator. It does not really do justice to what all FreeBSD has to offer. So this thing is going to be FreeBSD only.
I agree, totally agree. So that's one of those killer features that could lead people to FreeBSD.
Yes, I really hope that we can, like, if this becomes something that more people are interested in and enthusiastic about, I can imagine a future where newcomers join uh, uh, BSD Cafe and use Freedive, use Boxy BSD VMs to dip their toes into FreeBSD, and eventually realize that, hey, this feels like home. I want to keep using this and I want to learn more. And the reason for that is, honestly, I have seen the decline of FreeBSD users over the years. We are getting old and we are basically being churned off. We need new users, new people to be as enthusiastic about it and fall in love with the simplicity and the robustness of the system that we have all come to love. The only thing that I keep finding is that we still espouse the same old ways of using a CLI. I call it old because, hey, Unix is 50 years old now, 50 plus years old. And we all have mobile phones in our pockets all the time. FreeBSD has the capability to be there and serve you from there, from your mobile phone, be able to have access to one or more of your FreeBSD servers. And the whole data sovereignty part of getting control of your own data, of your own privacy, for that and for the reliability of ZFS for storing your data, I really want to showcase to people how easy and safe it is using FreeBSD's features such as ZFS rollbacks, snapshots and rollbacks, boot environments where you can upgrade and see if it works or go back a version, go back two versions. These things are magical once you realize just how trivial it is on FreeBSD. And I really want to show people these things without them having to learn CLI. Just have a taste of it and then get deep into it.
Call in the morning. I already gave it a try and encountered some issues. So yeah,
Mhm.
but I think I already covered everything in the updated documentation, and I already saw that you have merged this. So it should be pretty easy for newcomers and beginners to give it a try at least. I also
Yes.
provided already a binary file, so you can just install it directly by the package file, and you're good to go in that way. So I also provided and prepared a blog post about it. So I will share it after this meeting because I don't want to steal you the show. And yeah, that's
Thank
it,
you.
I guess.
And eventually, I definitely want this to be a package that you can simply install from the main FreeBSD repo or FreeBSD package install, and just like there should be as little barrier to entry for using FreeBSD and FreeDive. Just have one PKG install FreeDive, do the configuration via service FreeDive config, and you're good to go, is how I wish to see this eventually. Will remove any obstacles that may be slowing down people on the way. Anything that requires you to read documentation and follow several steps, I consider that as a bug.
And I think especially this one is a pretty good approach because it's a layer on top of it that you can easily remove again. So you can just install it
Yes.
very easy. It's just an application that is running on top and orchestrating everything. But you can also, if you think you do not need it anymore, just remove it. And there are no leftovers in that case. And it's not a dedicated distribution where you need to have a commitment to it and so on. It's just an application. You just install it, you drop it, you start it, you use it, ready. That's it. And
Nailed it.
this is a pretty good way. All right. So
All right.
if there's nothing else, I would stop the record.